You don't need a crystal ball to tell what Tata's cars are going to look like in the future. You just have to look at their concept cars because their concept cars are very, very close to their production cars. You just have to look at the 45X, which became the Altroz, the HBX, which became the Punch, and the H5X, which became the Safari. And now we've got the Avinya. Now I've got Martin Uhlarik with me to take us through the design of this path-breaking car, which is going to show us what Tata cars are going to look like maybe about 3 to 4 years from now. We have seen the Curve, which is a slightly shorter range preview of Tata cars, but this is where it's at 2025 onwards. Remember Tata's commitment to have a lineup of 10 EVs by 2025? The Avinya will be the first of those cars on Tata's new Gen 3 bespoke EV platform that promises a range of at least 500 kilometers on a single charge. This apart from other Gen 1 and Gen 2 platform cars like the Nexon EV, Tigor EV, recently unveiled Curve Coupe SUV concept, and more to come. The Avinya isn't just a styling exercise though, it previews an actual production car for India and international markets, and Martin Uhlarik, Tata's global head of design, tells us the design is over 90% there. So what you see is largely what you are going to get. Hi Martin,
Hi.
Thanks for taking us through the Avinya. It's stunning.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're very proud of it. It was a dream project. It is a dream project because, of course, as we've said, our intent is to put this in production by 2025. It's our intent for all Gen 3 generation platforms vehicles. So all our pure EVs will now have this DNA, this look, and this feel.
The proportions, let's start there.
Yes. So the driving force, because it's a Gen 3 platform car, it's a pure EV. There's no more compromise in terms of trying to balance an internal combustion engine as well as an electric powertrain. So this is a pure EV. So what we did was we moved the wheels outboard. So it's a 4.3 meter vehicle. Hard to believe when you see it. So the focal point is the interior cabin, and it just offers far more room in a 4.3 meter vehicle. So it's a Harrier size cabin inside what is essentially a premium hatch size footprint. But what we did was, by moving the wheels outboard, it offered us the opportunity to move the windscreen, the A-pillars, really far forward. And then at the same time, because of aerodynamics and efficiency, we moved the sort of optical feel of the rearward. And that makes the silhouette of the car really unique. So it's almost like a little bit of an MPV feel in terms of the cabin, but then you have this very sleek body side, very simple body side. And at the same time, it has a huge ride height. So it's 200 mil high. So it can accommodate any road conditions.
Right, and I think with the Gen 3 platform, you're also looking at adapting the skateboard to various cars and various body types. So.
Yes, so this is the first product that we are now industrializing, productionizing, and working on the design. It is in our design studio right now, and we are working on it. And the target now is to capture all of the essence and all of what you see here, for the road. And at the same time, it is a platform that will spawn a whole generation of products.
When we asked how the Tata Avinya will be marketed internationally, attention was directed to the new visual identity. So make of that what you will. To us, it looks a lot like a new logo, doesn't it?
So aerodynamics plays a huge part in electric vehicles in terms of communicating efficiency and being efficiency. So this is actually an air dam, a spoiler, and the air flows underneath it and through the sides. And all around the vehicle, there are features which are aerodynamically led. And we've been undergoing CFD analysis of this design to get the lowest possible drag, and the plan is to take the full-size clay model into the wind tunnel and again finesse it. And over the next sort of year and a half while we're developing the design, the plan is to get the lowest possible drag, and it's influenced a lot of the aesthetics. So we have the spoiler on the side, but we also have the slash on the rear door, which is, again, it was given to us by the aerodynamics team as a perfect point to get the sort of wind curtain.
A slash on the wings of a car,
Yes.
It heavily points out to it being a rear-wheel drive. Now, we don't know details of the Avinya as yet or the platform, but it does seem heavily rear-wheel drive. How would something like this make it into production?
I mean, what we're doing is now we're analyzing how we're going to, stamp the sheet metal, and also, probably it will have to have some sort of like, island in terms of a plastic insert or some sort of insert that's connected to the sill. But nonetheless, everything is driven by form over function. So everything has to be driven by a logic and a rationale. Everything is there for a purpose. There's nothing superficial here.
That said, the 22-inch aero wheels are pure concept, though Tata does say the production car will still weigh massive 20 inches, but we think that still seems unlikely. Instead, we'd like to draw focus to the parts of the car more likely to make it through relatively unchanged, maybe with the exception of those light extension winglets at the rear.
So the first thing when you're doing aerodynamics is the overall frontal area. So lowering the roof as much as possible without compromising the interior space. At the same time, all of these sort of features around the vehicle, and then underfloor. Though that all adds up to create, your competitive drag.
Now, obviously with an EV, you've got the batteries sandwiched in the floor, which leads to the seats themselves being mounted high up.
Yes.
But how do you balance that and interior space and the overall height of the car?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's just a simple sum of math. You've got the ground clearance, so 195, 200 for ground clearance. You have your battery stack, which you cannot compromise because we have a range target of 500 kilometers. And then at the same time, as you said, your H point, which is your hip point, and the seating position has to be comfortable. So we're telling ourselves, if wellness and well-being and overall health is the purpose of this vehicle, you want to make the people comfortable for a 500 kilometer drive. So single charge. So we have to find the right compromise in terms of, what is the minimum, and then that sets up your head clearance and that sets up your height.
See what you were saying about the height itself, the balancing of that hip point.
That's really, the math for this program.
And the seats seem like they're high up, but they're actually not, because...
Yeah, they're just right, I would say the minimum. For the production car, we're looking at maybe increasing it slightly more, and we're trying to find a solution for the roof. Again, just to maximize the comfort and ingress-egress. But this is, like I said, this is the manifesto.
Of course, a manifesto is up for interpretation as time moves on, but there's no denying how much space a pure EV platform opens up on the inside. Meanwhile, there's bound to be a lot more work done in here. That said, we do think more screen real estate will make its way to production, but then again, the touchscreen phone seemed like a stretch when we were all using clickety button phones, and we know how that worked out.
And so the sort of fabric on the top of the IP is actually a sound bar. So it's not only a speaker, but it's actually a voice activated system. So our plan is actually to migrate to a voice activated interface, which we think is actually safer when you're driving.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So it's a little bit like, we say no screens, but it's just an evolution, we think, which will be more mindful, more stress-free.
If you're looking at sound as a priority, I love what you guys have done with the audio setup in the car. Mm-hmm. You've got speakers in the headrest.
Yeah, so we put the speakers in the headrest, and what we did was we migrated all of the climate control to the doors. So this is like an aeroplane, so you adjust your temperature here and simply adjust the direction, whether aircon, heating or whatnot, directionally where you need it. Obviously there's atmospheric, climate control, but it's all about the overall atmosphere. And then of course, if you personally want, you have your own little zone, like on an airplane.
I think if half of this makes it to production, we're going to have very exciting times ahead.
The purpose of a concept, a true concept, which is a dream car. We are dreaming out loud here, is to put a stake in the ground and to say we have a number of innovative ideas. The company is very confident. As you say, we have a shopping list of a number of innovations here, and our objective now is really to achieve as much of this as possible.
We hope this in-depth look at the Tata Avinya has you as excited as we are, considering the Avinya's intent, nearness to production, and the fact that it's all coming via an Indian manufacturer. If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And let us know if you think pure EVs like the Tata Avinya could help you consider making the switch to electric in the not so distant future.